What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel where I help you to get started in property investment. In this video, we are going to look into what is the relationship between the MRT, to be precise, public transport, with property. Coming right up after this. Now, recent news is that the MRT 2 Phase 1 already commenced from Kawasan Damansara all the way to Kampung Baru, which is somewhere around Jalan Ipoh. Now, the good news is, with this public transport, it will minimize the traffic jam in the city, right? So the best yet is that it will keep the people moving. That is the most important part. By the way, if you're looking to invest in property, whether you are first time to invest in property or if you already invested in other assets, for example stocks, cryptocurrency, you're making money, that's great. And if you want to learn how to invest or maybe look for your first investment property, I provide you with a free training down in the description below. If you're working 9 to 5, right, assuming that you need to reach the office at 9, so probably you need to go out somewhere around 7. It usually takes like 1.5 hours to reach the city center. Now, when you're coming back, the same thing is going to happen. You're assuming that you're finishing your job at 5, then you need to commute from your office back home 1.5 hours. Now that is maybe 3 hours wasted every single day. Now that is if you staying maybe like 5 to 10 km from the city center. Now if you're staying further away, then you probably need to spend more time traveling into city for work. Let me tell you a real story. I have a friend staying in Shah Alam, and this friend works in Bangsa South. Every single day, this friend wakes at 5 o'clock in the morning in order to reach the office at 9. Now usually when someone wakes up at this hour, like 5 o'clock in the morning, is usually parents preparing the kids in order to send them to school. Now this friend actually haven't married, so no children. So imagine this, you need to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That's crazy. There's so much time wasted just to stuck in the traffic jam. Now if you ask me, I actually like to travel on the public transport, not bus though, not bus, not the KTM, because KTM really sucks, right? KTM is never on time and it's always wasting time. Sorry from the rant, but KTM sucks. Now on the other hand, LRT, MRT and the monorail, superb. No, is really on time, and the interval between the trains is really short. That is the reason why if we are commuting on the light rail, it's really can cut down our time to really short. We don't need to stuck in the traffic jam. When it comes to time saving, that is the reason why people tend to stay near to their workplace. But it will never always work that way, because if you were to stay in the city center, then the rental will be very high. And that is the reason why people tend to stay further away to save on the rental, but they need to sacrifice on the traveling time. When people staying further away in order to save on the rental, they actually sacrifice their time commuting to the workplace. In order to solve that is to travel on the public transport. Now it can be MRT, it can be RT, but we're not going to look into the KTM or the bus because both of them really sucks. When people traveling on public transport, the first thing that comes into mind is to stay near the station. And the reason is convenience. Follow the basic supply and demand principle The more people looking for property surrounding the MRT station, the supply will eventually go low, hence the higher rental. Now that is the reason why when we invest in property, the easiest way to identify whether the property investable or not, just follow the transport line, for example the LRT and MRT. Of course there are pros and cons to this. Usually these properties come with a premium, and make sure that your property can fetch a desirable rentals. Speaking of rental, if you want to learn how to invest in property with rental, I provide free 40 minutes video on how to look for one, which you can implement yourself straight away. You can get access to the free training via the link in the description below.